Good morning, good moyed. Today is the 17th day of Nisan, and we're starting a new chapter in Tanya on page 88 in the Chayenu, Perek Mem Aleph, chapter 41. In today's lesson, a fundamental pre-mitzvah meditation. This is a good idea to do before we're about to do a mitzvah. I noticed someone in Shul, before he gives tzedakah, he stands there and he's thinking. We talked about this, right? I'm not going to say his name, but he stands there for a few seconds. He's thinking, you know, how often we give tzedakah? It's a big mitzvah. It's one of the biggest mitzvahs. And we just give it. And even when we put on whatever we're doing, it just sometimes we just rush into it. So imagine to stop and think. I learned a lot from that. I try to do it as much as I can. Boy, I'm doing a special mitzvah. This connects me to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the greatest mitzvah. I'm giving. There's so much. We're not going to get into that now, but if you follow along this year, you'll know and you'll hear about and learn about the importance of giving tzedakah, to stop and think first. So what do? All of existence and all its fulfillment awaits me. Hashem is putting everything aside and focusing on my individual submission to His will and its execution. How do I connect Hashem's will? By doing this mitzvah that I'm about to do. And yesterday and the last few weeks were all about the love and the fear of Hashem. So Perek 41. As mentioned in the title page of Tanya, the whole Tanya is based on the verse, the pasuk, for this thing is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, so that you may do it. This means that that observing the Torah mitzvahs with one's heart, with love and fear of Hashem, is very near. You could do it, but sometimes we need a little instruction. We need a reminder. We need a push. In this chapter, the Alter Rebbe goes on to say that fear of Hashem is the beginning and core of divine service. This is not so with regards to the negative precepts, but also with regard to the positive precepts. One must, however, constantly bear in mind what is the beginning of the divine service as well as its core and root. What's the purpose? This means, although fear is the root of turning away from evil, thinking along the lines of, if I do this, not that I'm going to be punished, but I'm going to be separated or potentially separated from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that should cause one to tremble. And we have, and love, which is the root of to do good. Nevertheless, it's not sufficient to awaken the love only of do good. You can't just think, oh, happy-go-lucky, you know, everything is good. At the very least, before performing the positive mitzvah, one must first arouse a fear which lies hidden in the heart of every Jew, not to rebel against the King of all kings, not to get against Hashem. So that this fear should manifest itself in his heart, or at least in his mind, a little bit, as much as he could. Optimally, a Yid should be able to create a feeling of fear in his heart through meditation upon God's greatness. You stop for a second and think, Hashem can do whatever he wants. He can make things very difficult. He can end my life at a moment's notice. If, however, this proves to be beyond the person's capacity, and he's not going to stop and think that Hashem could do anything to me at any given moment, so at least he should scratch the surface by thinking, listen, I'm standing before the king. I should tremble just for a moment. This degree of fear is attainable to everyone, at least if you put your mind to it. If you set aside a few moments, I think moments is even faster than a second, right? Just a moment. This means that in order to arouse within himself the lower level of fear, he should at least contemplate in his mind the greatness of Hashem. And I once again revert to the Shulchan Aruch that says should have windows in the shul. So you could look up to the heavens, Hashem is everywhere, but in the middle of davening, you're thinking, before davening, and you have windows that you could see the heavens. That's why they're there, so you could look up. They shouldn't be across from you so that you'd be distracted, but they should start 6 feet up. By the way, Hashkacha Pratis, we didn't build the shul like this, but it just came 6 feet up. We had big windows all the way to the bottom here, and we closed them up. Any place where you see two windows close to each other. So they were over here. This one's also all the way down. But the point is that we look up to heavens and we say, Hashem, master of the world. Hashem can do anything. Who am I? And a person brings up that natural fear that a person has inside of himself. For a king, let's not get further than the simple, basic idea that the king, Hashem, is the king of the entire world. Asherhi malchus kol elamim hel yonim v'tachtonim, not just the entire world, but all the worlds, the upper worlds, the lower worlds. V'ihu memale kol almin, and furthermore, we should think that Hashem fills all the worlds, and He animates them, He gives them life, He gives them sustenance, He gives everyone anything that they could possibly need. V'seviv kol almin, and encompasses all the worlds. As the pasuk says in Yirmiyahu 23, it says, David just says, "Do I not fill heaven and earth?" Yet it leaves aside the creatures of the higher worlds and the creatures of the lower worlds. Hashem uniquely bestows His kingship upon the Yidden, the people of Israel in general. Hashem is known as the King of Israel, and upon the Bnei Yisrael in particular, because and a man is obligated to say B'shvili Nivra Olam, Sanhedrin. A Yid should remind himself that the whole purpose and intent of creation relates specifically to him, that Hashem becomes king over him, and that He gave him a specific task and mission to fulfill, and no one else can do that mission. And also, a person has to accept God's kingship upon him. When do we do that? Rosh Hashanah, right? But we really do that every moment, every single day. That's bittul. We have to accept that we will be subservient to Hashem no matter what the job is. We're ready to serve Hashem. Some mitzvahs are easy, some mitzvahs are hard. How many people over Pesach say, Shana goes, what's going on tonight? Because it's like 3-day yontif, you know. What's going on tonight? We're doing another Seder. No, let's skip that one. We did it last night. Oh, she's 5 years old. You know, it's sometimes too much for somebody, but it doesn't matter what your master throws at you. If you're subservient to the master, you'll do whatever he tells you to do. So the acceptance of the yoke of divine service is required of every single Yid. Now here, the Rebbe points out that the Alter Rebbe will now go on to say that the above meditation aimed at awakening one's awe. It's very interesting how there's a distinction between pachad and yirah. Yirah is awe. We all have to have avos Hashem and yiras Hashem. And everyone always says love and fear. But the real translation is awe. It's trembling. It could lead to some kind of fear, like, you know, dread, like, wow, I'm standing before the king. Whoa, is he going to do anything to you? No. Sometimes you get nervous, you get stage fright. What are you scared of? No one's going to hurt you. No one's going to certain buildup of anxiousness and awe. Like, especially you come into a place like, you go to the Grand Canyon. I've never been there, but I mean, imagine. So you look, I was at the Niagara Falls. You look at it, you're like, wow, that's amazing. There's no trembling, but it's just like, wow, you have to look at it and really take it in. It's unbelievable. Different than pachad, right? But the Rebbe says that the Alter Rebbe points out this is not enough. An individual must realize that Hashem not only bestows His kingship upon him in general, but He also does so in a personal manner. You're not just one of the subjects of the nation. I'm looking at you. I'm expecting you to do your job and your mission. And the Alter Rebbe's words, V'hinei Hashem nitzav alav, and Hashem Himself stands over him. And the whole world is filled with Hashem's glory. Not only because Hashem does everything and is everywhere, but moreover, He's looking at him specifically. And He searches his reins and heart. He knows what he's thinking. He knows what he's feeling. I'm waiting for you to do your job. Therefore, a person has to shudder and shake. It's not that I'm just sitting in a minyan. There's plenty of other people. It's okay. I'll blend in because the Shekhinah rests on 10 people. Hashem is waiting for you. You should shake and tremble before the king. Amik memachshava zu, yarich ba kefi yecheles sagas moichem machshavte kefi hapanai shaloi. A person should meditate. Imagine before we give tzedakah, before we daven, or before we, we're about to put on our talis, which is a mitzvah. We're going to count sfira every night. We say the bracha, which means say a sher kedushan of mitzvah. So he commanded us with this mitzvah, and it's every single night is an additional mitzvah. Now we would say one bracha in the beginning, and every day we'd say, okay, it's another night, another night, another night, another night. It's one long mitzvah. No, each night is an additional mitzvah. So before we do that, instead of rolling, it's a very special thing. I was joking about the first night, or second, maybe before the counting of the first. So it was the first night of Pesach, the second night of Pesach. I was joking about how people have to be very careful because sometimes you miss the first night if you're not paying attention. And sure enough, after Yontif, I got a question because somebody forgot, and he said it by day but very late. He said it by day but very late, like Shkia time. So I said, and this is a psak that I got from Rabbi Leshes. He said that he even said you could extend that a little bit. If a person is going to disregard, it's a mitzvah every single day. So if a person counted already 20 days, 25 days, 30 days, 40 days, he's with a bracha and he missed. So probably he's going to finish it out because he's used to doing it every single day. But if you miss the first day and you don't give him a little leniency to say the bracha, you're going to say, I missed the first day, forget about it. So try to be a little makel there, so a person will be. And sure enough, he texts me back. He says, "Yay! I'm so excited. Now I'm definitely not gonna miss." And he put in an alarm. Anyway, the point is, I'm actually impressed how passionate he was about the mitzvah. Unfortunately, he missed the first time. It's funny because, and I'm not judging anyone because it's easy to not come in the evenings when during the day you have Kriyas Torah, you have the minyan with Baruch Hu and Kedusha and everything else. A lot of people and energy and kids and everything else. By night, it's just, we'll just daven at home. We'll daven at home, we'll do the second Seder. We'll daven at home, Mariv, Yontif is out. We have a small group that comes in the evening. But then you can miss Sfira the first night. You don't have the gabbai telling you what to count. Huh? It's a bummer, right? So you got to chaparayim. So it's a special mitzvah. So back to what we're discussing here. Why don't you take a moment to think, just for a moment, okay, this is the meditation, chavra. Right before the mitzvah, you close your eyes and you say, Hashem is waiting for me to do this mitzvah. And I'm standing before the King of all kings, creator of heaven and earth. That's an awesome responsibility. And there's a certain feeling like, if I drop the ball, this is not good. So that alone, that's just the starting point. And we could all do it, everyone according to his level. Before a person engages in Torah study or doing a mitzvah such as putting on tefillin or talis or tefillin, takes a moment and he thinks. Here, I brought the example of Sfiras Saimer because we have a new mitzvah, so we're excited about it. But what happens into day 25, 35? I can say, hey, reminder of my phone, quickly say it. So this is the most basic meditation, which will arouse a basic level of Yirah. Again, awe. I don't want to say dread. Dread is like you're scared of something. It's awe. Hashem transcends the universe and is master of the entire universe. And yet, he's presently attentive to me personally. He's waiting for me. And he's looking into my heart to see if I'm serving him properly. And I'm in the presence of the king. This is the first meditation that the Alter Rebbe introduces. And tomorrow we're going to have another meditation. Yuda, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us online. And have a wonderful day and a good Moed Chavra. Sei gesund.